This is the case where this gentleman was levitated in front of my researchers.
Newton's 3 laws of motion are something everybody studies who deals with introductory physics.
You're sitting like this, literally rose up like this and slammed into the refrigerator.
There are 3 laws that describe how objects move in response to forces.
They say it goes can't kill you, and that's not true.
If you know the pushes and pulls and you know Newton's laws of motion, then you can determine exactly what an object is going to do.
Using this simple voice-activated recording device, Lou asks questions and waits in silence before asking the next. But when he plays back the recording, Lou claims ghosts have answered his questions.
Are you a human spirit? Have you ever lived?
Any idea what that third one is?
No.
Listening to the Holy Spirit is really the hardest part because we don't really know how to listen to him.
And clearly, you can hear it say no.
Are you a human spirit?
What's going on from your perspective, Holy Spirit? Because you know this person better than I do.
Roger Boyle regularly appears in court cases as an expert witness analysing audio recordings.
It sounds, to me, more like electronic interference that happened to be picked up by a highly sensitive recorder as a result of radio waves. I believe you could interpret them as guttural sounds of the voice if you wanted to.
I'm like, well then how the fuck does static talk? How does static say no? How does static say yes? How does static say the fucking person's name?
It does say on the back, this device must accept any interference received, including interference that may cause undesired operation.
Yes, that's because interference is a fact of life. It's a physical phenomenon.
I'm into fucking reality. And if people want to think that the paranormal ain't a part of the reality, they're more than fucking happy to think about that.
So what I'm hoping to do is give you some very practical things today on how to pray for other people.
It does feel like something's responding because that kind of that growling sound.
That's the recorder circuitry. You pointed out, Lou, that it's a voice-activated recording. It also has an automatic volume control.
So if it's not hearing Lou's voice, it'll bring it up.
Everything up to the same level.
But bottom line is that there's shit in this world that can't be explained. And it's the truth.
Step 2 is to listen to the Holy Spirit and to ask God.
I think quickly to come up with a worthwhile question. Can I ask you, just so that we can really distinguish when you're speaking and when you're not speaking, to remain completely silent after this question? It's not an exact science, but if my question is greeted with silence on the recorder, I'd be more inclined to believe there's an entity that I'm communicating with. More noise would suggest it's the random interference we know the machine picks up.
Can I ask you, just so that we can really distinguish when you're speaking and when you're not speaking, to remain completely silent after this question?
Sounds like electronic interference to me.
This is my favorite photograph, okay, which basically I say shows the existence of life after death, okay?
Wow.
Is it paranormal? I say damn right it is.
All that seems to separate something that's taken to be genuinely paranormal from just might be is how much of a shape that it makes. Of course, that's tricky, isn't it? Because there's in the middle there's an ambiguous area because, as you know, we're all wired to find faces and shapes.
Okay, if you do squint, you can see the face pops back out again. And what you're doing by squinting is you're reducing the quality of the data. You're bringing it back to the old image.
It's a masterpiece of spiritual photography as far as I'm concerned, because when you look at it and you see the detail in it, I don't think nature could provide that kind of detail.
If astronomers were frogs, they'd see images such as Kermit the Frog.
I wish everybody in the world could believe things that I've seen, you know what I mean, and experienced.
The violence of the movements is such that it's hard to believe for the uninitiated that something from outside might not be producing something like this.
And it's hard knowing that, walking around with that information, and knowing that, yeah, there will still be people out there that won't believe you because they think it's a story.
We're programmed by evolution to see faces. We're programmed to see things that are important to us. We're not frogs, nor are we elephants. But things that have religious intonations.
Lou certainly believes his photographs represent clear evidence of the existence of ghosts. But from my point of view, it's only if you already believe in ghosts that the evidence makes sense.
I can pretty much tell when someone's gonna pray for me whether they know how to do it.
And I know you've got a lot of evidence. To me, they're all the same type of evidence. And for me, that type of evidence can be too easily explained through sort of physical means and ordinary science.
Auditory patterns pop out, but this is the most famous example where you can allegedly, when you play this backwards, you can hear these, well, religious type words. So this is a cognitive priming mechanism. When I tell you what to hear or look for, then you see it, particularly when the data is grainy. In other words, it's a data theory thing. The theory tells you what the data says.
So in Lou's world, I think, and the world of the believers, there seem to be two options they talk about. Either somebody's just playing tricks and they're charlatans, or it's all real. And what they don't seem to really embrace is this huge middle area of people fooling themselves. I think it's quite revealing that they don't sort of embrace that at all.
Are you a human spirit?